course, each county had the draft board, and each fellow, when he got 18, registered and with the draft. And but I was eligible in August, and it was the following June when I decided to go to the draft board and volunteer. Okay, I was born in Lincoln County, 7 miles north of Chandler. And the old homestead, my father had been in the family 100 years or more. And all the family were born on that same farm.
What was it like growing up on a farm in the Dust Bowl days?
Well, we didn't realize how serious it was. We just were out there on the farm enjoying life, and didn't have much, but we had one another and enjoyed that we experienced those same dust bowls and the droughts and running out of water for the livestock and all those things. But there were always a lot of chores to do and things to do that kept us busy.
And you mentioned that your dad was really a progressive farmer. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, he had my uncle was with the college when he in the agronomy department, and he would come up with something new that my dad would always want to try it. So he would try some new crops, and he terraced the farm before terracing was popular for the control the erosion. And I asked my dad about it, but it was just the thing to do. We're always praying family. We prayed before meals, before bedtime. The church was just 2 miles from where we lived, the country church. It was there every time the doors were open. That was just the thing to do. It was the primary activity. And so if a situation came up that warranted, we'd pray about it. And that was the way we did all the time.
What were the teachings of your church in regard to war?
Like I say, we attended regularly and received all the teaching of the church, and we, of course, studying the Bible and teaching of Jesus, understood that the war was incompatible with the teaching of Jesus. So I knew that others had chosen to do other military duties other than carry combat weapons. But I knew that, and if they had strong convictions, that was available.
Okay. And why did you not choose the way of a conscientious objector?
Well, sad to say, I was not living as close to the Lord as I should have been. In fact, I just fallen clear away and doing things that I knew was not favorable to Christian life. So I said, well, I don't have that to stand on at this point in my life. So I thought, well, and I felt that I needed to do my duty, do my part, and so I just talked it over with the parents that I would volunteer for induction, and that's what I did. Just felt that I needed to do my part, and that was the thing to do.
Very good. You lost an older brother in World War II. Tell me about him.
He was 4 years older than myself and had gone to college and been kept out of the military while he was in college. And he was in ROTC, so he went to officers training after college. And then he was trained as a tank commander with a new tank that hadn't been in service before, that had 90 millimeters instead of 75 millimeter main guns on them. So he was still in training when others had gone off into the combat. And he was coming to Europe, and we're in France on their way to the front lines during the close of the World War II there in Europe. And it was accidentally shot by another officer. And He was in the hospital, but he got gangrene and died, and that was about the same time that I was wounded. I caught a small piece of shrapnel in the flesh of a hip, and I was able to walk to the aid station, but it was a burst from a artillery shell that burst in the trees or a mortar shell, and so that ended my combat out one line.
All right. How did you believe that God protected you during the war?
I wasn't so aware of it at the time, but he did all the way, every step of the way. And when I reflect on it, he took care of me, and he took care of me, getting me back off of line when he did, and out of harm's way. Others were our reports that there was severe casualties after I was back off the line. So he took care of me. I knew that I had praying parents back home in church and all of that.
Did you think about that at all, about the fact that you came back from the war and he didn't?
That didn't concern me too much, other than the fact that I knew how he lived, and he was ready to go, and I was not. Maybe that's what was all about, but he was a solid Christian all the time, and I was doing things I shouldn't have been.
Right. And you looked up to him.
Yes, I did.
You sure did. Okay. You recently visited World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Tell us about how that impacted your life.
That was a tremendous opportunity, and it's still going on. The World War II veterans are getting fewer, but it was a well-organized trip, and I was so thrilled to get to go, but didn't realize how it would affect me. I was just, the World War II Memorial is so large, pictures don't do it justice, and you have to be there to really see the magnificence of it, and it's a good memorial. But I was enjoying seeing all those things. I stood there watching the wall of stars. Stars are representing those lost in the service, and I thought of my brother, and that's when I kind of lost it. But otherwise, it was a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous experience.
Right. So every star represented 100 lives lost during the war.
That's true. 100 lives were represented by each star. Right. And then I thought of my brother, sure. And that got to me, but it was a tremendous experience, and I recommend it.
Okay. Well, one final question. As a World War II vet and a Christian, what parting word would you like to give to us, your Lako family?
God never gives up. He is always faithful. You can trust him all the time, and he cares about every situation and is able for any situation. And we need to trust him, be obedient, and walk with him, and life is great all the time.